Okay, so amazing to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to Learning at Work Week. So this is the first of our sessions. You will have seen the communications that we've done this week on the Pulse and some of you on Bob as well. So this session is learning about learning, which sounds a bit counterintuitive. It sounds like a meeting that could have been an email, but really what I'm trying to focus on is that there's lots of different reasons to learn. There's lots of ways in which we learn, but I also really want to show you is how the products that we offer you in our learning offer are ticking those boxes. So we've really moved leaps and bounds forward. So oh, bear with me 1 second while I just admit somebody. So what I'm going to do is go through. If you've got questions, what I would love for you to do is hold on to them to the end. And that's only because today there's quite a large session, so I can't see everyone on the screen. But don't forget it. And you can use the little digital hand up to remind me at the end. So I've just done that and you can see it pops up on the screen. And then when I click it again, it disappears. OK, so what we're going to do in this quick session. So we are going to learn ourselves. And I think this is important for you to understand that anything you get from the L&D team, we've always considered how are you going to learn it. So we're going to do it with, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to give you some quite fast facts. Our brains are really clever. They can keep up with that. We're going to do it in a digital way. And that is the fact that you are learning online. We're doing auditory, which means you are sadly listening to me, and visually as well because of the animations and the way we are going to give you the information. So first of all, and then we're going to do that. We're going to give you ideas. And at the very end, I'm going to give you access to our prospectus. I have already put that in the chat for you. You can download that, and that prospectus is what is available for learning and development across the board. So why is it important? Now I'm going to go through with you 5 reasons why I think it's important. I haven't just made them up or plucked them out of the sky. It's based on research. So remember what I said to you about learning visually as well. When you're trying to do slides and you really want people to stick, having a real characterful image like this is really useful. There's a reason that you like to learn, and it's because it keeps your brain happy. And what I mean by that is, if any of you have got children or nephews, you'll know that when a little kid learns something new, whether it's a song or a trick or something they can do, they beam, they want to tell you about it, they want to show you. The brain actually releases endorphins when you release something brand new. And what that does is it gives you that boost of confidence. So number 1, it keeps your brain happy. So number 2, it keeps new ideas brewing. You will all have joined us at some point in the last few years. And what that is showing you is when you come here to a new business, you have ideas. And when you learn new stuff, it sparks things. What we need to start doing is making sure we capture those. It also gives you that feeling of growing and develop. Nobody wants to stay stagnant in one place. You'll know from our recent updates, we now offer training for everybody, regardless of whether you want to be a future CEO or you just want to do a brilliant job in the job that you're in. So by constantly growing and developing, it keeps that learning and keeps giving your brain those little dopamine hits. So number 4, I like this one. It makes you valuable. So the more you learn, the more valuable you become because you have knowledge and you can put it into practice. Never underestimate the value to a business if you consistently be topping up your development. And then number 5, it actually can help you build your self-esteem and confidence. So when you know that you have tried, you've learned, you've absorbed, you've remembered, that's a brilliant feeling. And we see that a lot when we go through the people in our operatives who are studying for qualifications. When they've got them, it is a nice feeling to have that self-esteem and confidence that you started something and finished. So what I've shown you there are the 5 reasons I think we should be learning. What I also going to go through with you is how most people learn. Now, you probably know this already, but again, the whole point might be it's a refresher. So visually, So if you are a visual learner, you are going to learn by seeing pictures. You're going to learn from images. You'll probably drive past billboards and really remember what you see. You generally will also quite like videos. You'll quite like TV. But for you, this is how it comes in. And when you try to remember things, you are remembering images and pictures. There is no right or wrong here. A lot of us will have a strong one, but we'll mix between them all. So some of us are auditory. So some of you will learn best by listening to others, or you might be loving a talk, or you might be liking a podcast, or the ability to click play and listen to an article on a website. You store things in a different way because for you listen intently. You're probably one of those people who reads things out loud to try and help yourself because you're listening to yourself saying it back. So number 3, I love this one. This is kinesthetic. What it's really talking about is you learn by doing and touching. You'll be that kid that gets stuck into Lego. You'll be the one that builds things and touches. The more physical activity that takes place when you learn is how you are. Now, this, for example, is hugely important for our operatives and our field teams that are out there physically doing something they would prefer to do rather than watch or listen. So there's another one as well, which is experiential. Now, I can't promise you all that I'm going to take you on Outward Bound or Go Ape, but this means not only do you like learning by touching and doing, but you want to have an experience. So if you were on a team build, or perhaps you were climbing, or you were being shown how to climb trees or how to do something, the fact that you are in a situation and there are people around you helping you learn really works well. This often works in schools because teachers will step back, show you, and then throw you into an activity that they guide. And then finally, this is the one that most of you will be without realizing, is we've become what are called multimodal learners. Multimodal is a fancy way for saying you can do a bit of everything, hence the pick and mix on the screen. So this means you might love a video, but you can also read a book. You might like the activity, but you might also prefer to just listen to a podcast. We're now obviously in a world where media is given to us in lots of different ways, and what that has done has changed the way that people learn. But I would take a guess that most of us are multimodal learners at some point, but we will have a preference. So that's great. But what about the learning methods? And what I really wanted to do here was to help you see the learning that we've got at GC and what that actually looks like. So we do 2 types of training. We do in the flow of work and out of the flow of work. So in the flow of work is you're learning on the job, being shown, you're done. And then out the flow of work will be something like you're doing right this very second. We've asked you to stop, we've pulled you out, and we're giving you some information. So GC do in the flow and out of the flow, and we work really hard to make sure there's a good balance. So we also do face-to-face. Some of you will have seen my beaming face in the office, and a lot of you will have seen me on digital learning like this. Again, it's showing you that we are making sure that we do a split between the two. Clearly, digital allows us to reach more people, but face-to-face is often quite important as well. And we recently did that for our key account managers in the office. We also train on an individual basis and in a group. So today we did an induction. We only had one new starter, so we did an individual induction. Today we're training in a big group format. There are some businesses that get stuck in one or the other, and what we try to do is be really flexible. Something else that has become a huge thing for us over the last few years is different ways of learning. So we will offer you bite size. If you kept up to date with the Pulse, you'll see a couple of weeks ago we launched our very own bite size portal, and you've now got access to about 65 bite size documents on all kinds of topics. But we also have an e-learning platform. and that's slightly longer, but giving you more detail and recording your learning. Again, 2 more things that GC are doing. We've also know that there's a big appetite for you to learn on YouTube. So we've recently boosted our YouTube channel, and there's a ton of stuff on there now from GC Learning Shorts. If any of you follow the Mech Man on LinkedIn with his big blue menses, then he now has his own channel on YouTube. All more stuff for you to learn. And a sneak peek for you guys is there will be a learning and development podcast coming later this year, short and sweet, that you'll be able to listen to anywhere on any device, whether you're in the car or in the office. Again, what we're ticking there is the visual box and the auditory box. On top of that, we know that some people learn in a full program. So you know you are on something, and you know your dates, and you know you are completing everything. But not everyone loves that. So you'll see that we launched Pick and Mix, where you can make your own and pick the pieces that you like. Another way of making sure learning lands for every different person. We also understand that when you want stuff, some people want us to do the work. So when you go onto YouTube or GC Learning, we've curated playlists for you. So if you want to think about communication skills, you don't want to waste 15 minutes looking, we've done that for you. But we also know that some people like to search and locate their own training, and which is why we've left those channels open for you to do that as well. Final couple of pieces of learning is mentored or coached. We have a mentor program in GC Learning, which means you can volunteer to be a mentor or be mentored. And if it's appropriate, we can also look at coaching. And then the final 2 that I'll talk to you about in types of learning will be the formal type. So sit down, classroom, take an exam. We do some of that for some of our qualifications, but we also learn through social learning, which is things like Lunch and Learns, YouTube and Teams. So in the past 12 months, what we have done is made sure that we have ticked every box to make sure as many learners as possible have something available to them. So what that brings us to is what learning is available to you. Now, we wouldn't be a Learning at Work week if I didn't talk about this. So you have something to look through. I've popped it in the chat for you, and there is a PDF in there with the 2023 prospectus. There is everything we do, what it looks like, how long it takes, and how to get it is in this document. If you can't get it from the chat for some reason, it also now lives on the Pulse. And you'll see that on the Pulse, it lives right under the brand new GC University tab. So in there, you'll find the prospectus, but you will also find the links right at the bottom for all of our bite-sized guides. So any questions for me? That's a whistle-stop tour. You've talked about why we learn, the general 5 ways we absorb it, and then the types of methods that we do at GC Learning. So I will give it open to you guys. Does anybody want to ask a question? You can do that in either chat, or you can call out and do it direct to me. Or you could all just completely ignore me. I'm joking. Andrea Prout, you've got your hand up.
See how much I love you.
Oh,
Jez, operatives. Obviously, yeah. I'm very invested in our operatives, and actually, how easy is it then to access all of this stuff now? I know that not all of them have a GC email account, so is there a way that they can link more readily to all of this stuff?
So a lot of it is available. It's just, as you said, it's getting it to them. They're always available through their manager to be put on any of the programs. Bite-sized guides, they do have to be hosted somewhere, which is the Pulse. However, the technology we've used means a manager can open a bite-sized guide and then email it directly to them, so he can send it to anyone's email address. It doesn't have to just be a GC email address. And then with things like GC Learning, they do need a log on, but we can sort that whether it's theirs or a team one. And one of the reasons we've drifted to YouTube is because it removes that hurdle of a login. So YouTube is open and full of rich content that every operative is able to get their hands on. They just need to go, potentially sign up, then they get a little subscribe, and they'll get a notification when something new comes through. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, and I guess maybe that's also that we have a responsibility, certainly for managers and the like, to push that to them as well. So there is an onus on us to maybe to show them the way, as it were.
Okay, and a great, you know, the whole thing of today is fantastic, that people might just go away from this thinking there's more out there for my operatives than I thought there was. Thank you for that. Any other questions? Can I create a YouTube account using my work email, as I've tried a couple of years ago and I had to go and use my private account? So the reason that we wouldn't want you to do that is not because we don't trust you, but obviously we don't want to have 150 odd GC Learning accounts. So what we would probably do is encourage you, if you've got great content that you want to share and you think it's relevant for everyone, then come and talk to the training team and see about working with us to see if we could help you share that great stuff rather than going alone. Hopefully that answered the question for Inas. Anybody else? Don't think I could see anybody else. Okay, well, in that case then, guys, you are done. Thank you so much for dropping into the first one. You've got a little bit of time back as well. Hopefully that's given you a little insert into how different learning can be at ground control than it was 12 to 18 months ago. Please let us know if you want anything, and if this has sparked an idea a little bit like the one there from Inas, then come talk to me, because the table is sort of open for ideas. Let's see what we can do. Okay, enjoy, and hopefully we will see you on the sessions during the rest of this week. Have a good day.